All right, welcome back. We're gonna cover the New Gods. So this is a newer series, part of the DC All In. So this is taking place after I don't know if you guys are aware, but Darkseid made the new Absolute Universe in his own image. So this is after that where he died, quote unquote died. So this is written by Ram V. So let's just hop in. So we start with In Space, obviously. This is a New God. So if you don't know anything about them, created by Jack Kirby, kind of his bigger thing that he did for DC is introduce these new gods. So in that group is like Darkseid, the High Father, Orion, Mr. Miracle, Metron, those people. Kind of went over more of like space, more bigger elements for the DC universe that we still see now. Like these guys are pretty big, like Orion and Mr. Miracle, common. Mr. Miracle's part of Justice League International all the time. Darkseid, big bad of DC. I mean, stuff like that. Yeah, so we start with the great being knew at last that her time has come. She kissed goodbye her favorite star, one last supernova before she stilled herself and allowed her end to bloom. Desolation flowered and her unfulfilled dreams drifted out. Post-nebulous and newborn galaxies full of ancient worlds where life forms and civilizations blinked in and out of existence. In one such dream, she had dreamt that when she died, her being, her memory, would all eventually return to that from which all had begun, to the source. The old gods died. So this is the source wall on the right. So the source is like the being of creation that holds like infinite knowledge in the DC universe. And so it's beaming something to Metron, who we just brought up. Metron is the god of knowledge. He also has that Mobius chair that he's in right now, like the technology chair. The source, I theorize, is a product of self-referential void. The great darkness could only refer to itself through the presence of another. For total darkness can only be defined as an absence of light of life. The source is pure imagination, the very first knowledge, unattained, ideas incomprehensible because it's all the meanings of everything all at once. It is a privilege of gods to touch it, mold it, speak with it, perhaps understand it, even briefly. This by Hyman. So the source wall just blows up Metron's face. Not really, but gives him a bunch of knowledge. So that's what Metron's doing, is absorbing all this knowledge from the source. And then we cut to New Genesis, where most of the new gods reside, where the High Father rules. So before we kind of get more into it, the High Father and Darkseid made a deal a long time ago for peace. And in exchange for peace, they traded children. So scot-free Mr. Miracle is the son of the High Father, raised on Apocalypse by Darkseid, and then Orion is the son of Darkseid, raised on New Genesis, raised by the High Father. So let's just get that out of the way before we go on. I don't know how much people are aware of the new gods and their lore, but we see Lightray running through New Genesis, talking about the High Father, how he seems more angry recently. So we cut to the High Father, and he's like, he's got a visitor. Who is this visitor? It is Metron. He's like, there's a time where I could stand upon and look upon endless worlds littered before dawn. I knew all their names. Now I'm left with only a few. It is a sadder sight than a fractured sky. What do you want, Metron? Metron shows up, and he's like, Darkseid's gone. And he's like, perhaps you could mourn him more than you'd like. But yeah, Darkseid seemingly died. I mean, Darkseid can't really technically die because he's the embodiment of all evil, but whatever. He seemingly died, disappeared, whatever, after combining with the Spectre and then creating his own new universe. So a new god, a very important new god, mind you, is missing. So if he's dead and missing, the balance of creation is gone. So they need something to replace it. And that's kind of what Metron is telling High Father. He's like, I don't know if you really like the words I'm saying, but they were told to me by the source itself, High Father. The prophecy is made. Darkseid is dead, and the forces of balance that held all of creation have fallen from their precarious dance. Perhaps they come as harbingers, perhaps it was the fear of Darkseid that held them away, but it doesn't matter now. It approaches a new hand of darkness. Now comes decimation. So we see these group of people coming to invade New Genesis, and he's like, on earth shall awaken a child, the new God. All that we know and hold to be true shall be changed. Will we be saved, or is this doom? We don't know yet. So Highfather's like, what do you want me to do with this, Metron? Like, I can't do anything. And Metron's like, I don't know what you'll do. I'm only here to prophesize. I'm a doom crow. Like, I'm just telling you that the end is nigh. Like, holding up a sign. You hold the shepherd's staff. What will you do is the question. And Highfather's like, where's my champion at? So we see Light Ray run up, and he's like, I'm here for you, Highfather. I'm your champion. And he's like, nope, you're not going to do it. I need Orion. And they don't really say it yet, but the reason that he picks up Orion is revealed at the end of the book. And it's a very chilling reason. I think it's really cool. So we cut to the moon of Blomkara Mining Corporation planet in Sector 1209. Orion's here. So some stuff starts going down. A bunch of creatures come clawing out. Orion's beating up everybody. He's like, worms! You've nothing to do with yourselves now that your lord is gone, so you come crawling out of the dark. He's dead. I'm your reckoning. Beats them all up. And he gets a call from the Highfather, and it's like, Champion of New Genesis, come over to us. We need you. And he's like, okay, I will. I was just killing a bunch of parademons because now that Darkseid is gone, they show their heads. So I crush them. And this is where Highfather's like, yes, I understand. That is the kind of the problem. But I have a job for you. And he's like, what's this job you have for me, Highfather? And then we cut to Mr. Scott Free, Mr. Miracle. I will talk about this a little bit. So, I don't know if anybody's read Tom King's 2016 run. What? Let me see what year. It's 2017. 2017, 2018. But, so that was during the Rebirth run. So, just to even, let's just knock this out of the way. Some of it's canon, some of it's not. If you haven't read it, I recommend reading it. I did really like it. It's very chilling and makes you think. But a very important part of that is he had a son named Jacob Free, but now he's got a daughter in this. So, son gone, daughter in. But she's basically new. But meeting her name's Liv. She's pissed everywhere. And Scott's like, I don't want to deal with this. Barda doesn't come. She's too tired because she's been hanging out with the Birds of Prey. I haven't read any of that. I won't lie. But Big Bart, I love Big Bart as a character. She's pretty cool. So he just puts her back to sleep, throws away the diaper, deals with it, goes outside, sits on his bench, and he's like, oh, thanks for waiting, Orion, because he heard in the beginning, he heard them teleport. And Orion's like, hello, Scott. I didn't wake up the baby. These two are brothers not by blood, but by coincidence. I don't know. Circumstance, I would say. Like they see themselves see each other as brothers, but each of them was raised by the other's father. But Orion just gets into it. He's like, it's been a while since we last saw each other, but I'm here because Metron made a prophecy. And Scott's like, a prophecy made? And Orion's like, yeah. So a new god will be born. A child will awaken here on Earth. And I, the champion of New Genesis, and Scott's like, you're a champion of New Genesis? He's like, yes. Have been tasked with, as the Highfather commanded me to, kill the baby. Scott freaks out and he's like, what? But Orion's like, yeah, that's the problem, Scott. I know that this is wrong. The Highfather hasn't really been himself these days. Scott's like, you're going to kill a child? Like, that's crazy. Like, you don't even know what he's going to become. And Orion's like, you don't think I know that? Like, I have never once in my life disobeyed the Highfather. This is why I came to you. He called me because he knows I can't say no to him. But you are Mr. Miracle. You're the only one I trust to escape me. You will take this child before I can find him, and you will run with the child. I will give you all the time I can, but you have to. And Scott is like, are you crazy? Like, I'm not listening to you, I'm not playing with you. I have a wife, I have a kid. She's just been born. Like, you haven't seen until today. You're the uncle. And then he goes into, he's like, Bart has been wiped, man. Like, between this, Birds of Prey, like, she hardly sleeps. She's tired. Like, this sucks. And he's like, that's her godly power. I don't know. So before we get into it anymore, Scott Free's godly power is the master of escaping everything. And that's how he got the name Scott Free, is because he kept escaping Apocalypse fire pits. And Orion is I can't really say he's the god of war. He's one of the gods of war, but he's a very strong and capable warrior. I think he is the strongest new god, besides, of course, like Darkseid. I mean, strength in punching, not as in he is gonna wipe the DC universe in power level. And then Scott keeps going. He's like, I don't know how to deal with this baby. Like, I don't know how to clean. Like, maybe I had a father, I know how to do this, but I was thrown into pits, and because of New Genesis and you had to be saved, I had to escape my circumstances since I could breathe. I don't want to escape this one now. And Orion's like, look at me, Scott. The Highfather set me on this task because he knows what I truly am, and he reveals his face looking more like Darkseid. He's like, he knows I'm the son of Darkseid. He knows that I will follow his command to terrible ends. I will kill this child if I find him. But Scott, I know you. You won't let me do this. This godchild is just like you, an innocent thrown into the games of these gods. You abandon him now, you will abandon yourself. And Scott's like, shut up, man. And Orion keeps going, look into your own eyes and look into the eyes of your child and tell her of your fatherhood. The one thing you can never escape, Mr. Miracle, is who you are. You have 7 days. So then we cut to this family in India running away, getting chased down by I wouldn't say the government, by some mercenaries, or we don't know yet, but they see a train. They're like, we got to jump onto the train. They get shot down into the middle of the field. And while they're shooting at him, all under threat, the baby wakes up its powers. In the dwindling hour shall come hence the last avatar made. The great steed shall ride, and on its hooves shall follow the reckoning of all. And the new gods were born. So in the beginning, the old gods died, new gods born. So this is what Orion's gonna hunt down. This thing obliterated everybody there. Yeah, crazy. Which will lead us into issue 2. So we reach back out into space and meet this man. He's always thought himself as a scavenger. He has had many names since his reaping. Kurok Tor at birth, Kurok the Death Speaker, they named him at the High Gates, Kurok the Dean to the hordes under his command, Kurok the Curseborn to those who've yet feeled his gaze and told his tales. But he walks out. I love the art for this, by the way. And he's like, nothing more than a scavenger, he thinks to himself. A parasite thrums in his veins. The Nykozviks, hungering, crawling mad with a blood glee. Just a carrion feeder. The scouts have returned. The systems are littered with source-born, they report. Some of them say they are storied to be new gods. He stifles a laugh. The scores have brought him an Easterix, a source feeder, mangled and made powerful at the far reaches, chasing after new space, gorging on creation dust. Not quite a sourceborn, certainly no god, but it doesn't matter. And then he just kills him. And then after he kills him, he says that he always thought himself a little more than a scavenger. The moment this test was set to him, they were each and every one of them gods, devils, heroes, and villains, as good as dead after all. So he's sent out to go kill all the new gods. He says New Genesis will crumble, the Dovaras and the outer rings will fall, Apocalypse will thunder to the rhythms of war, and all your mistakes shall haunt your dreams, Isaiah, like an eclipse devouring the last light of the gods. Pray, Highfather, pray now. Though the fall is inevitable, pray. Though the end is coming, pray, for even gods may be graced. And we see that Highfather sees the end of New Genesis. That's his vision, is that he sees everything burning down around him, everybody die. He wakes up screaming. Light Ray is like, what the hell's going on? And Light Ray runs out, and he ends it by saying, an unlikely miracle will come. And we get to see Scott Free dressing up in his little costume. So he writes Barda a note, and he's like, I gotta leave. He's like, I tried to sound brave writing this, but I'm terrified. You know everything about me. My childhood traps, mechanics, and the fire pits and apocalypse, each trap nested with another. I'd escape from one to the next, and yet, through all the pain, I kept going. Because in my heart, I knew there would be one last lock to break. There would be one final contraption, beyond which was freedom and joy and happiness. You were the promise, past my final escape. This might come as a surprise, but I doubt myself sometimes. Like I'm waiting for another trap to snap shut, but I reassure myself by looking at the wonder we made. Olivia, live free. And I like that he kept the little thing going with his name where it's really just two words that mean something, like scot free. You got away scot free. Her name's Live Free. Oh, so good. So he continues his letter. I have to be mad to knowingly walk away from this and into those familiar jaws again. I would be every bit the fool I suspect I am, but Orion was right. I can't turn away from who I am. If I abandon this task, I will not be the man you fell in love with, and I'd want Olivia to ever look at me with pride. Orion has given me 7 days, and I already squandered so many working up the courage to do this. If I asked, I know you'd come with me, but we have a child, and she is so little, I hold her hand in mine, and I am afraid of ever putting you or her in harm's way. And we get to see Orion just wasting those days away, beating up everybody. He's coming. He is coming. He's training. So Scott continues, like, I promise I'll be there as soon as I can, or I'll come back as soon as I can. There's a trap made that I could not stop. Please forgive me. And as he's walking out, Barda's like, where are you going? Dressed up in uniform already, got Liv with her, and he's like, what are you doing, Scott? And he's like, listen, Barda, like it's not what it looks like. And he's like, it looks like you're trying to sneak off and do an adventure because your brother showed up out of nowhere and talked you into doing something stupid. So you were just going to leave us, but we're coming with you. But Scott's actually in a pretty good mood. And he's like, oh, I have to go find the baby. I think Oberon knows about it. He knows what all this is about. And he's like, you're not mad at me, Barda? And throws it and hits him in the face with the diapers. And he's like, you're on diaper duty. So no, I'm not mad. We cut back to India with that family that we saw at the end of the first issue. And they're like, how's the baby? And it's like, he hasn't broken out into that weird thing that he was, but he sounds weak. He only speaks in fits and starts, but they're trying to keep cautious because they're getting tracked. They're like making sure that they're wire transferring money. It's not seen, but they talk about, like, you saw what happened, what he did. Like, that's why they want him, because he's a new god. And we don't even know about it, anything about what he is, but he saved us. So they go into how they met him. He's like, 3 years ago, after we lost our son, that day, we see this guy climbing up the temple. And he's like, I remember. It's such a cliche. Like, you hear the stories of babies being abandoned. I didn't believe in a god, but I can't explain what happened. He's a gift. And then we see the people tracking him. They trying to look for him. They don't know exactly where he's at, but they know he's here because they sent the money transfer, and they think that they're not in a position to run away yet. It's like, I got my men casing him. They'll probably best to wait until it's uncrowded to find him. And then we see who is interested in this man. It's Mr. Maxwell Lord. If you don't know who that is, he is a villain. I mean, he's kind of like the Gray. I wouldn't really say he's ever a good guy. It's either he's a bad guy or he's not the worst guy. But creator of the Justice League International, until they were like, oh, you're a bad person, and I can't really say they kicked him out. They kind of just regrouped. So Maxwell Lord kind of goes into it. He's like, thank you, Mr. Wells, for doing that. He's like, they obliterated a bag team the last time. Don't let them see you. And somebody behind him is like, obliterated a bag team? You're not going to tell him that this guy channeled so much energy and killed these guys by sneezing. And Lord's like, you know, my father shot himself when I was only a young man. I found him naked, brain splattered all over the place, a bullet to his head. That my dad's a God-fearing man. He failed to understand human nature, that things are better than us, godly, wondrous, divine things. We need to drag them down, pull them apart. There isn't very much godly or divine things about them at all when we do that. He's like, look at you. You spent most of this time among us. I expect you understand this entirely too well. Seraphan. So if you don't know Seraphan, he is a new god chosen by the High Father, taken from Earth, hung out there. He doesn't have any powers. He's mostly just got like mystical, or not mystical, like cosmic bullets and stuff. I almost said the bad word. But Lord goes on, he's like, months ago, I was in a coma, a vegetable state with machines breathing, making me eat, piss, and defecate for me. And now here I am, making my play to find control, the single most powerful resource on the planet, a god. And he's like, it's a miracle I awoke with this purpose and drive, as if acquiring this child was a thing that needed to be done, the only thing done by my hand. Out of curiosity, I had my security team review footage of the moments before I woke up. You see, Seraphan, can you really blame me for feeling a little ambitious? And we see that Metron, well, what I perceive to be it's Metron, shows up, touches his forehead, and he has a Omega symbol on his head. He's like, I am renewed with divine purpose. So then we cut to Apocalypse. And Metron's like, it looks apocalyptic out there, Desaad, my old friend. And we see that this guy named Mantis has declared himself an overlord and stirs insects against the parademons every day. And then he says, I would deploy my most fearsome tools, but Kanto works against me every way. And if it weren't for Granny, he might even make a play for the throne, but Granny's protecting me. The thing that bothers me the most, Metron, is that crooked tongue is when you start calling me friend, and then you start spouting prophecy and precognition. Metron's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm only here for prophecy. Darkseid's dead. And Desaad's like, oh, really? Thank you. I had no idea that Darkseid is dead. No wonder this place looks like trash. And Metron's like, on Earth, a new child of the Source is there, a new god of unspoken power who walks curiously at your darkest hour. What does that mean to you? So Desaad sees this as Darkseid's reborn. And Metron's like, High Father commanded his dog of war, Orion, to kill the child. He's on the way. And then Desaad's like, I gotta make preparations, like Granny call forth the Furies. We gotta find this guy. But Metron's like, you don't have time. Like, I don't think you understand. Apocalypse is doomed. I'm not here with a prediction. I'm here with a warning. The end comes with an eclipse. The devouring of the last light of the gods is already here. And then we see that person in the beginning show up. He's going to destroy Apocalypse. Let the fall of Apocalypse begin. So that's the end of the first two issues of New Gods. I recommend picking it up. We might go over more of it later, but yeah, thank you for listening, watching, whatever you choose to do. Leave a comment, subscribe. Oh my god. Put in the comments what you want to watch or what to go over next. We'll probably go over more Superman and Fantastic Four stuff since those are coming out soon. Let's go. All right, bye.